In this episode of Dolce Vita, savor French classics with a modern twist. Chat with seasoned wake surfer Long Long Chow and join his journey to a championship. Check out some fashion-forward head accessories. And visit an exhibition inspired by the heyday of Hong Kong's textile industry.
They say the French know how to enjoy life because the French lifestyle is all about savoring the little moments, seeing simplicity as the ultimate sophistication, and choosing quality over quantity.
And equal care is taken to make the presentation as beautiful for the taste buds as well as for the eyes. And this culinary philosophy also applies to home-style cooking.
We all know that food brings people together, and no one knows this more innately than the French. The appetizer that kickstarts this family-style dinner not only stimulates our appetite, but its art-like appearance also brings a lot of discussion during the meal. The fresh hamachi is diced and topped with pickled beetroot. Along with the champagne jelly, it adds a touch of sophisticated simplicity to the hors d'oeuvres. French chefs, or let's say the people in France in general, have always had an open love affair with fish and seafood, and the passion for fish and seafood is also obvious at this time. After pan-searing to give the Dover sole a brown crust, Chef Calvin enhances the flavor of the fish by adding lemongrass ginger coconut sauce to provide the dish with some extra fragrance, and the result is, each bite tastes heavenly.
French sandwich culture is a thing of glory. Whether it is a jambon beurre or a simple croissant sandwich with ham and cheese, the French has a special place in their heart for sandwiches.
Compared with sandwiches, though the burger is relatively new to France's food culture and tradition, it is surprisingly popular.
Here, the chef uses Iberico pork instead of the classic beef patty in the burger. Along with the cheese, I can tell why burgers strike French people's fancy. When we think of an entree in a French meal, duck, beef, or chicken are the typical foods we might think of. But if you ask a French person, he or she might tell you that a family-style meal doesn't have to be all of those. It could be something much more simple, like this gnocchi.
This simple-looking entree is really delicious, as it is stuffed with Comté cheese and served with a rich tomato sauce. Very well done. I have to say, an entree doesn't need to contain several ingredients or complex cooking methods. A simple yet yummy dish is just enough. When it comes to desserts, the French are experts. They have a strong passion for making cakes, chocolates, and pastries, and have even created some of the world's most sensational sweets.
I agree. So unlike those individual serving sizes that we see at the patisserie, this soufflé in front of us has a really nice molten lava center and a light springy exterior. So this is the perfect size for sharing with your family after a hearty meal.
Life is challenging, and it can be busy at times that we hardly ever spend time with the family during the week.
So let's take this chance and live like a French person and spend some quality time with the family and enjoy it around the table. As the saying goes, take every chance you get in life because some things only happen once. Some people choose to sit tight and wait for the right moment, while others work hard to create opportunities. No matter which one sounds more like you, the person we're about to meet is definitely well prepared and has made it big in his life when he was offered an opportunity. As a Canadian, water sports seemed a bit far away from Long Long Chow's life. Not to mention, his seasickness once prevented him from trying any kind of water sports. But sometimes the best road is the one you make. After giving wake surfing a try a few years ago during a summer outing with friends, wake surfing has since become Long Long Chow's favorite sport, and this passion has even made him the champion of Asia. So can you tell us how you became a professional wake surfer? Like, what's your story?
So I started because the person who was driving me at the time, he noticed that I was training a lot and I'm getting some good results. And he was saying that I should give competition a try based on my current level. So I did, and the first competition was in Macau, and I won that competition. So I thought I should just keep going and see where it takes me.
So the very first time you competed, you won.
Yes.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
So tell us about your life as a wake surfer. Like, how much training do you do, like, say, per day, per week?
Usually I train about 2 hours a day, and I train about 5 times a week. And I find that, that gives me a lot of training time in the water, and that helps out a lot with the competitions.
Okay, and how about your fitness regime, like, outside of being in the water? Do you go to the gym, and like, what do you eat to keep up with all the physical activity?
I tend to still hit the gym before wake surf, just to keep up the cardio activity that's required for wake surfing. And in terms of eating, I'm actually a really healthy person. I tend to want to eat as clean as possible. During the summertime, I try to cut out as much carbs as I can, just to stay fit.
But doesn't wake surfing require like a lot of energy? Do you need to eat certain fatty foods or certain high caloric foods to boost your energy?
Wake surfing for 2 hours definitely would drain a lot out of you. But I find that if you do eat a lot of fattening food, the next day you're gonna have a little bit more sluggish if you're training again in the water. So I just still try to eat as clean as possible.
Well, let's talk about your equipment now. What's the difference between like a good and a bad wake surfboard?
Typically, a wake surfboard or a wake skimboard, you want light material. So you want something that's constructed out of carbon fiber, plexiglass with foam, something that makes it really, really light. And you want something that's designed a little bit more thin and streamlined so that you can catch more speed in the water. And that way you can perform better and have better tricks.
The popularity of wake surfing is rapidly growing, and everyone wants to give this exciting water sport a spin. But besides spending some time practicing in the water, you also have to choose the appropriate shape and material for your board. And having the right boat to create that build and perfect wake is also very important. So I just have a question. Can you wake surf behind pretty much any kind of boat?
Definitely not. Usually you want a water sport boat that's equipped to do wake surfing or wakeboarding.
Okay.
There's a specific boat that you definitely should not use would be a outboard boat, which what they are is their engine and the propeller is outside of the boat. Because wake surfing, you get really, really close to the boat. You're almost about like only a few meters away at times. So you don't want to be that close to the propeller or the engine. What you typically want to use is an inboard boat. And an inboard boat, the engine is inside the boat and the propeller is underneath the boat. So it's much, much safer that way.
Right. Now I do hear that wake surf boats can get very expensive. Why is that?
So nowadays, typically if you want a really nice wave, or if you want a really good experience while wake surfing, you want to pay that premium for a wake surf boat because you're getting a much better wave and you're getting a setup that's much quicker. Typically a nice boat, if you press a button, the wave will be set up, the boat will be fully loaded, and everything will be good to go just within minutes. But if you use an older boat, a lot of it is DIY, so you need to add water on and you need to add like a wake surf system, and that takes a lot more time. And more expensive boats tend to have like better interior and better sound system. So your friends who's watching you can have fun as well.
Right, so you're basically paying that premium price for all those specific features for wake surfing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, your career. What are some unforgettable moments you've had?
I mean, every time I go compete, I feel like they're really, really unforgettable experiences. But I think the first competition that I ever did is probably my most memorable one because I had zero expectations going in. I didn't know any competitors that I was competing with. I had, a lot less stress, but again, I still wanted to win. During that competition, I feel like I definitely outperformed what I, usually can do. I did everything I knew. I threw it all on the competition, and it's probably the best competition I've done.
Wow. Now, you're a champion, so you must have, a really great team behind you. How does your team, help you mentally and physically?
Well, physically, I think my team prepares everything for me in terms of, I come in here, I don't have to worry about my board, I don't have to worry about the boat. Everything is set up for me. I can just go out and train. And in terms of competitions, every time when I go in, they don't really give me too much stress about competing. They don't necessarily need me to win. they kind of just support me regardless and just, cheer me on regardless. And I think that really helps out.
Oh, so no pressure, all encouragement.
Yes, exactly.
Now let's talk about, your goals for the future. Like, do you think you've reached them already, or is there still something you're striving for?
I think definitely not, because I think in surfing, there's always something new you can learn. There's always something new that you can explore. I think I'm at a level where I'm comfortable in Asia, but I definitely want to explore, internationally. I want to see where I stack up with everyone around the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope you reach your goals.
Thank you.
Not everyone has the luck to turn his or her passion into a career like Long Long has. But what I personally think is, once you find your interest, just go for it, because you never know what the future will bring you.
After the break, experience the art of hat making with a local milliner. And let's take a walk down memory lane of Hong Kong's booming manufacturing era through art.
Being camera ready is part of my job, so when it comes to makeup, grooming, and clothes, I do have a few tips to share. No matter the occasion or style I'm aiming for, I will always add an accessory to accentuate my look, because the right accessory can always be the cherry on top, don't you think?
When it comes to fashion, hat is a powerful accessory that brighten up your outfit to the next level. It's like a cherry on top on the cake.
Trained directly under British milliner Stephen Jones, who is considered one of the most influential hat designers in the world, Phoebe Leung is an emerging local milliner with a dedication to creating bespoke hats that are both aesthetically pleasing and functional.
Hi Phoebe, can you briefly walk us through the different shapes and style in millinery?
So in millinery, we separate two categories. So one is soft hat, the hat you are now wearing. So it's made of fabrics, it's more like a daily wear hat. And also we have some occasionally wear like fascinator or some big hat.
What is the basic foundation in millinery design?
For the making process, I will use my hat block to make my hat. It molds my material and then form a shape.
Where did you get all these wood blocks from?
I collect blocks from some retired milliner. They sell hat blocks or from a vintage dealer.
How long does it take for you to just make one hat?
It's quite depends. So the hat you are now wearing, I took like maybe less than a day, but some hats I might even take more than a month.
Why some takes shorter time? Why is like some you spend a longer time in making?
So some hats are huge and they requires no machine sewing. So I have to do all the hand stitch, like stitch by stitch. So it might take really long time, but while some I can do machine sewing, so that's the difference.
What is your personal favorite if you have to pick one?
To me, I love boater the most. I love different styles of boater, higher crown or shorter crown. It just reminds me of gondola in Venice.
Oh, Dolce Vita.
Exactly.
What kind of style do you think is the best fit for me?
So for you, I think a casual soft boater will do the good job. So it's good for a bad hair day and it's just casual. You can wear it whenever you want. In Hong Kong, people are looking at more casual wear hats like boater, beret, bucket hats. But while in UK, people willing to spend a lot on a ascot hat, on a racing fashion hat, on occasionally hats for wedding, for maybe just for dinner.
Nothing spells romantic more than a veiled headband. Adorned with a floral piece and a black veil with sequins and crystals, this headpiece brings extra charm to a pleated dress outfit. Perfect for a casual date night. No matter what kind of occasion you're dressing up for, the key should always be to hit the right balance. Nothing too loud nor too casual. Here, Kelly is matching a black button beret with a high neck lace shirt. This harmonious combo is so classy that it allows you to stay effortlessly chic on any occasion. Fancy some holiday vibes to lift your spirits? Well, let's start with your wardrobe. When it comes to vacation style, I always like to go with long maxi dresses. And of course, a travel hat is also an essential. This 50s-inspired classic straw hat with long chiffon stripes offers an instant boost of style.
Millinery design is very interesting to me. It evokes images of royalty, elegance, and classiness in general. So today was super fun to me, seeing the behind-the-scene progress of millinery design, from design progress to production to the proper ways of wearing a hat. I think the art of making a hat is simply fascinating. After the talk with Vivi today, I'm quite confident in choosing the right hat for myself next time.
To most people, textile is only a flexible material consisting of a network of natural or artificial fibers. However, to some people in Hong Kong, textile evoke memories of the garment manufacturing boom in the 1950s. And these memories have now become inspirations to a lot of artists around the globe as they use their creativity to retell the glorious history of this bygone era. What would you say makes this art exhibition so special?
You know, so our inspirations always coming from this building, former cotton spinning factories. So we are always trying to bridge the past and the present, connecting Hong Kong textile industry past with the contemporary arts and design. So that is different from the other exhibitions because we are always trying to recording the identity of the Hong Kong and through our exhibitions.
What would you say was the inspiration behind the exhibition?
Okay, so this time, we are going to show our collections. This is the first time to show the accumulations of the activity last 4 years. So we have the two streams in the collections. One is the textile industry apparatus, which are used in the factories. And the other one is a contemporary artworks we commission to the Asian artists. They get the inspiration from the story of the Hong Kong textile industry. So it's everything related to the Hong Kong. But you can see how artists interpret and dive in the city of the Hong Kong and the story of Hong Kong textile industry.
Art often provides us with the opportunities to shine a light on social issues as well as the environment and the people that surround us. However, to Takahashi-san, art is also a space that encourages individuals to use their imagination as they go on their journeys of self-discovery. And for the visitors that come to the art exhibition, what are you hoping that they will take away from this?
We show the exhibition entitled The Day Measured. That exhibition is about the story narrated by former textile workers. Usually, their story are not, they pay that much attention, especially among the young people, so they are less patient to listen to their story from the former generation, right? But this time, our curator made a beautiful display and to visually help to the understanding of the past.
And what about you? Is there anything that leaves you with a strong impression? Do you have a favorite?
I just reading the transcriptions because I don't understand the Cantonese, so the hand. She worked in the garment factory, and she said that she started working from the age of 11, soon after the graduation school, and sometimes she could get the extra wage for her, overtime work. I was really, really touched with the story, of her, and I kind of could imagine that, hard work of the former generations actually made Hong Kong as it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that you can find the hidden jewel in their stories.
It's very touching. The thing I love about art exhibitions is that I can experience them. I can interact with some of the pieces, and the whole process always inspires me to look at our world in a slightly different way. And the impression it leaves me is always very different to some of the other cultural activities.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. If you want to find out more about what we have introduced, remember to log on to our website. How do you live your best life? It's a question that everyone wants to know the answer to. In the coming weeks, we will continue to find ways to live life to the fullest. If you wish to make every day more interesting, savor the best tastes of the season, kickstart a healthier lifestyle, see the world from a different perspective, or find out ways to look gorgeous, we've got you covered. Join us again next time to have a good time.